about to listen to the Dr. Daliah Show. Sassy, stimulating medical talk radio. Any medical advice Dr. Daliah Wax gives on her show should not be substituted for an actual visit to your medical provider. And now, here's Dr. Daliah.
All right. We are back on the Dr. Daliah Show. Thank you all for tuning in. 1-877-DOC-DALI, 1-877-DOC-DALI. So I'm sorry if some of you are eating a sandwich, but I have to talk about toenail fungus because a lot of you guys have it. And one of my listeners wants to use UV light therapy for their toenail fungus. So they have a UV light machine to do gel nails at home. And so she wants to stick her foot into it for her toenail fungus. Can she do that? So, all right, we get toenail fungus because we are surrounded by pathogens. We're surrounded by viruses. We're surrounded by bacteria. And fungi is a pretty resilient sort of bug. It's bigger than bacteria, much bigger than viruses. And it has a pretty thick wall when you look at it microscopically. And if it gets in to your nail bed, if it's on your skin and your skin is dry, sometimes it thrives in the form of ringworm. But as you've noticed, most of the fungus that you might get will be in the underarm or the groin area, like jock itch, because it needs moist areas, warm areas, and places where it won't get brushed off. So for Tinea unguinum, which is fungus of the nails, Tinea pedis is foot fungus or athlete's foot, Tinea cruris is jock itch, Tinea capitis is a skull or a scalp fungus, Tinea corporis is could be like ringworm, where it's on the skin, on your body. For the fungus to get in where it needs to be, it needs that protection of the nail. So it gets in and under the nail. It thrives there, especially if those nails get wet a lot or can hold moisture. And then it could spread, affect the skin, affect other layers of the nail. And so there's yeast and mold and other things, but you pick it up in public showers, swimming pools, contaminated socks or shoes, or sometimes it just happens. We see it a lot in people with diabetes because they're immunocompromised. And so we're surrounded by this stuff and it just decides to take hold. So the reason why a lot of the topical treatments don't work is that nail is too thick. And by the way, this fungus is so smart that it thickens the nail in its growth. And the thicker the nail, the more it protects its home, the more of a wall it builds. It likes to build walls. In fact, it might be a really good border czar. So when you say, well, let me do that little topical treatment, if it doesn't get through that nail and down into your nail bed, it might not work. You may be able to snag and affect part of the fungus if you could get it to directly touch, but most fungus is smart and they sit under the nail. So the most effective medication are the oral antifungals. Like Lamisil is a prescription we use where you take one a day, terbinafine, for 3 months. How we used to do it is we would check your liver because an oral antifungal could affect your liver. So we used to check your liver before we even gave it to you because we didn't want to shut your liver down. If your liver was healthy, you would be started on it. Then we would check your liver at the 6-week mark to make sure your liver was still good on the medication and if it was working. And then at the end of your 3-month treatment, you would still see the fungus on the nail, but you would see how the new nail was growing healthy because dead fungus still looks like a yellow, thickened, discolored nail. Now the recommendations are not as aggressive about liver testing, but some of these medications interact with other medications. You aren't supposed to drink on them. You got to be careful using Tylenol. So usually these medications need to be done by your in-person provider. Sometimes some online doctors will prescribe it, but it's usually a 3-month oral medication commitment. Some people might even need longer. So now, what about the topicals? Well, if the topicals can't get in there, they might be able to help some of the surrounding skin. But if they can't penetrate through that nail itself or that nail plate, it might not work. So then laser treatment, surgery, to remove the nail and clean it out. It does happen for severe cases, but it's not ideal. It's kind of invasive. Sometimes there's laser treatment using high intensity heat to destroy the fungus. But UV light is something I've been seeing advertised, and I just can't say it has enough data to prove it works. So UV light, particularly UVC, can be bactericidal, meaning kill bacteria. It can also be virucidal, where it could kill viruses. And it can affect the cell structure of microorganisms, including fungi. Again, that UV light has to penetrate through that nail. And UVC may not be able to penetrate deep into the nail plate. It could affect the skin, where the fungus is on the skin. But to get to the deep nail, I don't know if we have enough studies. The other problem is UV light could also affect the DNA and make cancerous cells. So we've been trying to tell people to move away from UV light gel nails. For those of you going to these nail spas or salons, we recommend you do the LED instead, or just something else. We do not want you exposed to any more UV radiation than you are. So at this point, I can't recommend UV light. Talk to your medical provider. But if you do have toenail fungus, that's a sign that you could be immunocompromised, have diabetes, or, struggle with other things. And broken nails can allow for infection to come in. So make sure you get your toenail fungus treated. 1-877-DOC-DALIAH.
Hi, everyone. If you've been injured in an accident and think you deserve compensation, listen up. We have legal professionals standing by right now to answer your questions for free. They'll tell you if you have a case and how much it's potentially worth. Call 800-710-5100. I'm here with spokesman John Wolf. So, John, tell our listeners who should call right now.
Well, Maria, first off, thank you for having me join you to answer the listeners' questions. Now, as far as who should call in, anyone who's been injured in an accident and think you deserve compensation, give us a call right now and find out how much your case is potentially worth. Call 800-710-5100.
Thanks, John. You heard it, folks. If you think you deserve compensation, call now to find out how much you qualify for. 800-710-5100.
Advertisement sponsored by Legal Help Center. May not be available in all states.
At Hotshot Secret, we share the science behind common diesel problems and their solutions. For example,
Hotshot Secret Stiction Eliminator.
Stiction, that sticky friction, undermines the performance of diesel engines. Third-party ASTM testing verifies that Stiction Eliminator removes 2 times as much stiction than any alternative on the retail shelf. Stiction Eliminator is formulated to be left in the engine oil. It works as you drive.
Available at truck stops, Tractor Supply, O'Reilly's Auto Parts, and online at HotShotSecret.com. Hotshot Secret. Powered by science.
In a study, it was found that 33% of 44 herbal supplements had no trace of the advertised herb. Don't let that happen to you. Hi, this is Dr. Mitch. If you want to ensure quality, please go to TotalWellness.com. Supplements made for physicians only now available to you too. TotalWellness.com, helping you to look good, feel good, and enjoy total wellness.
All right. We are back on the Dr. Daliah Show. Thank you all for tuning in. 1-877-Dr. Dali, 1-877-DOCDALI. Big thanks to Talk Media Network for making the show happen. Big thanks to Daniel, our producer, and big thanks to you all for tuning in. We really do appreciate it. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Dr. Daliah, Facebook, The Dr. Daliah Show, YouTube, click like and subscribe. And if you ever miss a show, go to drdaliah.com. So, very interestingly, one of our listeners a while back, and I forget which case we were talking about. It was probably one of the Trump cases where they kind of questioned if trial by jury is the best way to go. Now, I'm, constitutionalist. I think our founding fathers had seen a lot of abuse and had built a constitution that could prevent abuse, which is why we have a trial by our peers. But many people are wondering if the trial and the jury, or a jury by our peers, if the jury is going to be biased, is going to lie when asked the questions to get on. People lie to get off a jury. You wonder if people are lying to get on the jury. Oh, yeah, absolutely. We listen to both MSNBC and Fox News, and we are completely independent and bipartisan, and no, we'll give somebody a fair shot. And then, it's you just wonder if somebody is going to get a fair trial. Well, interestingly, one of the next big trials that is coming up is the Luigi Mangione trial. And apparently there's an attorney who thinks that he might be cleared of the murder, of the alleged murder of the United Healthcare CEO that happened in December, because jurors might like him. There's a fundraising account that has already raised $500,000 for him. I think originally somebody set up a GoFundMe, and GoFundMe, I think, pulled it down. And I don't know of all the fundraising, but apparently people are online fundraising. Now, this one account is, I think, set up by the Tom Dickey law offices, which might be his attorney. And he comes from the December 4th Legal Committee, Stone Harbor, New Jersey. And apparently they've raised already for Luigi Mangione $518,000 under Give, Send, Go. And as we saw with what happened with TikTok, and people were falling in love with him, I get that picture of him in his hoodie looked kind of cute. I seen him, no, I don't think he's that good looking now at all. But some people have already decided that they have fallen in love with him and that there's a cause. And in fact, we have had individuals who have actually on certain news outlets justified what he's done. And so it does make you wonder if people feel that he's a vigilante and doing something for the cause, as the American public is frustrated with insurance companies. You might actually have a jury that is completely okay with murder. That's frightening. Very frightening. So, Idaho-based attorney Edwina Elcox likened Mangione to a, quote, modern-day Robin Hood character. She said jury selection is going to be critical. She said it's a fascinating case. The CEO was a terribly unsympathetic figurehead, this is what she says, of a company that has droves of horror stories about how it treated people who desperately needed various medical interventions. Juxtaposed, she says, is handsome, educated, talented young man with no criminal history. Now, Mangione is accused of gunning down Brian Thompson, father of two, I believe. He was the United Healthcare CEO when he was on his way to a conference in Midtown, New York. And apparently he is due today in court on state murder and terror charges. But many Americans have been online and on TikTok idolizing him. And so when somebody brought up the question during the Trump trials, do a jury of our peers, how do we know these juries are getting it right? You don't. And it's kind of sad that cases have to be, you see defendants say, I want the case tried in this state, or I want the case tried, because they think that depending on the state, people are going to be thinking differently. They're going to be right versus left. And people say if Trump was charged, I guess in a case in Kentucky or Oklahoma, he would have been he wouldn't have gotten the judgment against him. But because it was New York, it was. And that's not the way it ought to be. I have a big bone to pick with how we have Supreme Court justices that are right and left. It really shouldn't be like that. A judge is supposed to be neutral. They're supposed to be impartial. You're supposed to hear both sides and make a decision. But time and time again, they lean left or right. Like, really? So, you have, and you always have had, in the youth, people that kind of buck tradition. On one respect, it makes the country great. Otherwise, we would still be doing things the way they were in the 1800s. Somebody had to stop and go, we could have wheels. We could be doing this differently. So, there has to be innovation, and times have changed and we do things differently. On the other end, some individuals want to be so opposite that they will abandon right versus wrong. When you were listening to those nurses in Australia who were condoning the deaths and murders of babies and Israeli hostages and Israeli civilians. Are you kidding me? And so some people look to a cause where they will then talk themselves into how murder is okay. And it's you lose your moral compass. And, I don't look at this Mangione kid as good looking. Yes, he did look like Jimmy Garoppolo in one picture when they were looking for him. But I'm sorry. Just because somebody you think is good looking does not mean they're allowed to commit a crime. Wasn't Ted Bundy dapper and able to get people to Charles Manson, apparently he had a lot of followers and people who were, disgusting. Somebody who commits murder, allegedly, okay, is not supposed to be attractive. But you have individuals going, well, it's about time somebody stood up. That is not how you address an insurance company. If you don't like the BS that insurance companies do, don't buy their policies. If enough people stop buying their policies and stop Obamacare funding to some of these companies, because they're just raking it in with our taxpayer dollars. You vote, you protest, the power of your pocket, stop buying it. Go and get another insurance so you don't have to have your dollars go there. And things will change, but you don't kill somebody. Remember how disgusting, I told you I was on Twitter or X, and you saw individuals post other CEO pictures, joking, saying, just saying, are you kidding me? You're advocating for murder? What have we become? This is how revolutions start. People get behind a cause and they say, you know what? It's full court press. It's war. You're really going to be killing, individuals? Then everybody's going to go after politicians. That we cannot condone murder. And I understand that there's a lot of individuals who are going to be wanting to get on this jury. You get selected randomly, but then if somebody really wants to, these high-profile cases, people want a book deal, they want interviews, they want to be, especially if they're not working, if they've been laid off, they're going to want to jump on this. And if they like him, yeah. You think that if somebody's going to be a part of a jury, they are going to do everything by the book. They might not. I found that fascinating that during the Menendez trials, with the first trial, It was, I think, a hung jury or a mistrial. All the men voted one way, the women voted the other. The women felt sorry for the boys. And we'll see what happens if their case gets retried or if they get released. So, right now, a jury by your peers is one of the safety nets we have so that there's other individuals that are not judges or in the legal world going after you. But, yeah, there's going to be some, people that are, I guess, I don't know, googly-eyed over some of the defendants. 1-877 Doc Daliah. Hi, guys. Dr. Daliah here. Addictions can sneak up on us and come in many forms, whether it's drugs, alcohol, sex, video games, porn, or something less obvious, such as food, internet, or shopping. Addiction can seem innocent at first and then evolve into an insurmountable evil. In our book, Addiction Basics, Caitlin Kalikas and I dive into the common addictions and provide tips for identifying and preventing these before they sneak in and take over our lives. Addiction Basics can be found on Amazon or my website, drdaliah.com. Check it out.
Carl Amari here to tell you about our newest website for old-time radio lovers. It's 100radioshows.com. At this site, there are 5 old-time radio shows waiting for you to download free as our gift to you, and be sure to browse the additional 700 old-time radio shows available to you for 70% off by using the promo code RADIO at checkout. This is a limited-time offer, so log on to 100radioshows.com. That's 100radioshows.com.
We are back on the Dr. Daliah Show. Thank you all for tuning in. 1-877-DOC-DALI, 1-877-DOC-DALI. So this is an interesting question I've received, and I think this has been a very commonly asked question throughout the years. But one of our listeners has a child, the adult child, that doesn't want to get married because they think that their spouse is going to fall out of love with them. That love is not permanent. And why get married if they're going to fall out of love with you and you get dumped? And so this is how we need to look at, many people are shocked at how the younger generation does not want to get married and have kids. So you need to understand what their thinking pattern is. 1, they don't know if they're going to have a career. 2, they don't know if they'll be able to afford a house or to be able to afford a child. 3, they don't know if they're going to be ending up a single parent because of a divorce. And then somebody's girlfriend or boyfriend raising their kid. And these are some of the things they're concerned about because they saw what happened to their parents. So the concept of falling out of love, does that happen? Well, it depends on what your definition of love is. If it is true love, you don't lose it that easily. If you truly, truly, truly love something, and you've created this emotion, not on day one, like love at first sight, but through all the ups and downs. You love them through the fights. You love them through the disagreements. You love them through the stinky body odor. You still love them. That love, it doesn't go away. The problem is we have a lot of individuals who think they're in love when they're not. And I saw it happen all the time. One of us would get engaged, and then somebody would feel like, wait a second, I should be engaged too. I want to be engaged. Okay, you're my boyfriend right now. Come on, we've been together. Put a ring, put a ring on it. And you and a lot of individuals, or they have this pressure. Well, I got to have kids. My biological clock is ticking. Or I don't want to be single anymore. And so when you really break down all the reasons people are getting married, you start to see that love might not actually be as big a part of that. And one thing I would ask patients to think about is, let's say your partner doesn't want to get married. Let's say they don't want to have kids. Let's say they end up in a wheelchair and can't have sex with you. Would you still be with them? Oh, of course. Yes, I love him. Okay, you don't have to tell me. But just on your own, it's okay. Don't feel guilty. Really think about it. Would you love them enough to take care of them through thick and thin, in sickness and in health, till death do you part? Because that's kind of the commitment you're going to be making when you get married. And I understand everything is all fun and games when we're skinny and cute and perky and sex drive is up, but life gets messy. Life gets stinky. Life gets lipocytes, which are fat cells. Things change. And I know there's a lot of people that stay together with their spouse because the divorce is too scary. Like, yeah, I love them. But, are they sleeping together? Are they intimate? Now, the intimacy, there's a difference between intimacy and sex. If you're having intimacy, that's a good sign. If you're not having sex, there's a lot of other reasons for that. You could have erectile dysfunction. You could have low testosterone. You could have vaginal dryness. You could have pelvic pain. There's a lot of things that might trigger that part. But if you could still be intimate and hold each other and touch each other and want to be around each other, that's a good sign. But it is a fear that people are getting married and they think they're in love. And they might be in love. But do they love? And so your younger generation is like, I got to spend some time with this person to figure that out. And usually I get sick of them by that time. Well, then, they're being honest. But what we also need to educate people on is what is normal for a relationship or a marriage. They are not going to be 100%. When you're in that I love you phase and honeymoon phase, whatever you want. Oh, okay. Whatever you want. That's fine. Let's compromise. I'll travel the world with you. I'll travel. And then all of a sudden you're about to get laid off and you need to move. I'm not moving. What? I got friends here. I'm not moving. All of a sudden reality starts to set in. And like, well, you 2 years ago said you'll go wherever I go. Well, yeah, but I like our home. I got family here. I don't want to move. I like my job. Now, all of a sudden, things start to change and things start to get nitty gritty. And so some individuals say, well, live with the person. Well, many individuals do live with each other. And then they're like, well, then why do we have to get married and spend all the money? Let's just live together. So it's a different time. It's a different thinking. I really do believe that when you see these couples that have been together for 70, 80 years and they're still holding hands and it was their first love, I do believe that exists. I really do believe there is true love. I also believe in love at first sight. And I believe there are some individuals where you really have passion for. But there's other issues: compatibility, in-laws, goals. The reason why a lot of divorces happen when you're middle-aged, it's not a midlife crisis per se. It's, I've been living my life. I have to. All I've been doing is what I've had to do. Now I want to do these things, and my partner doesn't want that. Well, I don't want to. I want to do something else in the latter half of my life. And so some people, they fall, and the relationship falls apart. Which means you always have to have communication. And there has to be compromise. There is no way you both are going to like my husband is not as into sports as I am. I love having sports on. And sometimes he just wants to watch something on Netflix. Like I've been watching a lot of college basketball right now. I could shut the basketball off and watch something on Netflix to help make him happy. But when it's football Sundays, sorry, TV's mine. And so you got, but you learn but people have these like, oh, we had a fight and, oh, we want different things. Well, of course you guys are going to want different things, but hopefully those different things aren't things that aren't incompatible. If you're with somebody who wants to sleep around, that to me would be incompatible. But if you are with somebody who wants to collect antiques or they want to travel, to Europe, or they want, that's not a big surprise. That's not a deal breaker. You're not always going to be on the same page. And we learn this with the in-laws. Sometimes we have to go to the in-laws for Christmas. Sometimes we have to go to the other in-laws for Thanksgiving. Nobody is going to be happy all the time, but you got to make sure they're happy. You got to make sure there's compromise and everybody's needs are being met. Because the romance and the spontaneity and the passion and the in-love feeling can falter. But if you've grown together and you have a partnership and you love being around, like I cannot wait to come home and tell my husband about my day. Now, whether my husband wants to listen to me, that's another story. But the fact that I can't wait for him to come home, that's a good sign. And look, it's okay to have to stop and think about, wait a second. I know people feel guilty. Oh my gosh, if I'm questioning the relationship, there's something wrong. No, I think it always needs a reevaluation. And by the way, marriage therapy is great for that too, if you ever need. But don't be afraid, to get married because you think something could happen later. Just make sure you do your research and you know each other first before you take that step. 1-877-DOC-DALI.
Hi, everyone. If you've been injured in an accident and think you deserve compensation, listen up. We have legal professionals standing by right now. They'll tell you if you have a case and how much it's potentially worth. Call 800-910-7500. That's 800-910-7500. Call now to find out how much your case could be worth.
Advertisement sponsored by Legal Help Center. May not be available in all states.
At Hot Shot Secret, we share the science behind common diesel problems. For example,
Diesel fuel cetane levels.
the cetane rating in diesel fuel is 42 to 45. Most diesel engines operate more efficiently with a cetane rating of 48 to 50. One treatment of Hot Shot Secret Diesel Extreme will raise your cetane 7 points, increase fuel economy, and improve cold starts.
Hot Shot Secret Diesel Extreme is available nationwide at truck stops, fine farm and auto stores, and online at hotshotsecret.com. Hot Shot Secret, powered by science.
Self-reliance. It's not a phrase we hear much in our culture these days. It might conjure up images of pioneers, the West, rifles, strapping men, and strong women. But what does it mean for us in today's world? The New American Magazine has just released its latest collector's edition, Self-Reliance, Foundation of Freedom. In it, the New American authors outline the necessity of self-reliance for a free people, tips for self-reliant living, and the importance of not giving up hope. This unique edition includes articles on the self-sufficiency of the founders, preparing for a worst-case scenario, firearms, financial self-reliance, the importance of community, and many other topics by expert writers. Now, for a limited time, the New American is offering a bundle of 3 collector's editions, Self-Reliance, The Great Reset, and Trump World, for just $19.95. Available at shopjbs.org. Visit shopjbs.org today.
All right, we are back on the Dr. Daliah Show. Thank you all for tuning in. 1-877-DOC-DALI, 1-877-DOC-DALI. We really, really do appreciate you guys listening. We try to get as much in as possible to help, answer all your questions and teach you guys the best we can. Keep your questions coming at drdaliah.com, and I will try to address everything we can. So I want to prepare you all that scams are at an all-time high, and they're going to continue. And they're just going to get worse and worse because bad people and criminals know that we are always on our phones, that we are always watching, movies that were always clicking through TikTok and YouTube and videos and all that. They're getting smarter and smarter with some of these scams. And they learn you. They figure out ways to learn you. We're being hunted. Some of us literally being hunted where they're trying to find us and abduct us and traffic us. But online, we're being hunted for our money. And they know what makes you tick. So twice I've gotten a call from same voice, somebody with an Indian accent who sounds like he's from India, saying he's with the DEA. And somebody is using my DEA number fraudulently. And they want to let me know, and they want to protect me. Well, that's nice that they called. So I get this message, but they say you need to call back now because this could reflect on you. And I haven't written a narcotics since 2016 because I haven't worked for a company where we write narcotics. So I haven't used my DEA. I just don't. So I call back, and I go, this isn't real. No, it is. It is. You're Daliah Wax. And I'm like, I am Daliah Wax. Okay, don't say that. You're this, blah, 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 blah. I mean, I'm thinking to myself. And then just, do you hear this weird noise in the background? I'm like, I hang up. Then I get another call. And it just, to me, didn't sound right. And then I'm looking up online. I go, are there any individuals with Indian accents pretending to be DEA agents? Because there's a lot of individuals, in America with Indian accents. And lo and behold, yes, there was a warning online saying there are people with Indian accents pretending to be DEA agents, saying that somebody's scamming and using your DEA number. And so I warned other doctors about this, saying, don't go there. A few years back, there was a scam where it was the Social Security Administration or the IRS saying you owe taxes. See, they don't call your cell phone. That's usually a concern. They might email you, but again, don't click on the email. There's usually a certified letter. Usually if it's the IRS or if it's the DEA, there's going to be something certified. All right. So if you want to ignore, and the reason why is they know people don't pick up on their phone calls. So in order for, let's say, the DEA or the IRS or the Social Security to go after you, there has to be proof that you received the message. And so they're not going, just like with jury duty. We're calling you for jury duty. They don't do that. They send it in the mail. So, and I understand everybody's like, well, now things are different. We have mail-in ballots. So maybe now they're going to be, just don't click on it. The toll road scam has been going around for a while. I finally got my toll road scam notice. It said the toll roads notice of toll evasion. You see how they get you? They're like, evasion? I haven't driven anywhere where there's a toll. I live in Southern Nevada. We don't have tolls. I have been to California, but I take the same road I've always taken. I take the 15 to the 210 to the 134 to the 101 to the same roads. Those aren't tolled. So not sure what the heck they're talking about. But they say you have an unpaid toll bill on your account. To avoid late fees, pay within 12 hours or the late fees will be increased and reported to the DMV. Really? 12 hours? Does that sound legit? It's sus. Then the website is the toll roads pay toll wqh.world.us. So you see, they make it look like it's something legit. They say, please reply Y, then exit the text message, open it again to activate the link, copy the link to your Safari browser, and then it says the toll roads team wishes you a great day. So they end it being positive, going, well, that must be. Okay, there to me is the biggest red flag. You don't usually, when you're a government or a state agency, go, we wish you have a good day. They're already, any sort of kindness already to me is a red flag. So I posted that because if you guys are getting this and you're like, I don't remember driving on a toll road. Now, where they get you is if they know you travel a lot and you're like, I don't know if the road was tolled or not. And by the way, I don't like that. I like the way it was done in New York, where you would drive up, there would be somebody in the toll booth, you paid them your money, and then you went through. Now that everything's all cameraed, you don't know what the heck you're doing. You know, we were driving around Germany in the summer, and my son got a ticket. And he knew he got a ticket because there was a flash of light. He thought he was going like 60 kilometers an hour. Everything was in kilometers, and we were doing the math. But there was a flash of light. And so now there's a lot of countries where what they'll do is you don't even know if you're on a toll road or getting or whatever. And I know there's Waze and other apps you could use. So these scammers know to take advantage of that. They know that you're traveling, and roads now are so automated where you have no idea if you're on a toll road or not. If you're going on a toll road, it's supposed to be very visible. In California, there's some roads, I think in Orange County and I think up north, where it'll say, this is what you're going to be paying. You are about to enter a toll road. It's very obvious. So for those of you going, but I don't know if I was, careful. And then don't click on the link. Go and verify. Go to the website of the state you were in, tolls. And they have ways for you to look up to see if you have an account or if you have an issue. Now, another thing that's a big scam is you're looking up a product. This really drives me crazy. I'm trying to get a flight or a hotel, and it looks like it's the name brand, and then it isn't. It's this third-party administrator that no. Always go to the trusted websites. Be very careful because sometimes it says sponsored, sometimes it doesn't. So if you want to go to Southwest Airlines, goes to iFly SWA. I have that memorized. Go to the exact JetBlue.com or Orbitz. You like Orbitz, go there. But when you're when you do these random searches, and here's a problem. Bing, Microsoft Bing, will give you points when you search on Bing. And when you get points, you could redeem them for Amazon gift cards and things like that. Be very careful still. Just because you're searching on Bing to get those extra points doesn't mean that you could trust every single website that jumps up. A lot of dating scams, gas station scams, where apparently you have they'll put something that you have to use your credit card in, and you think, oh, the gas station has a new credit card meter, and it's something that is swiping your credit card. Be very careful. Again, go to the same gas station, know what a gas station is supposed to look like. If at all it seems odd or new, the second you go, ooh, this is new, stop and just think. Think before you click or think before you use. They scam older individuals using AI. This is disgusting. They could use AI to mirror a voice. So then an older individual gets a call from their grandchild saying, I need money, Grandma. I need help. I need you to send it right away. Please don't tell Mom or Dad. And then they get caught in a scam. So think before you do. 1-877-DOC-DALIAH. Don't go away.
Did you know that healthy arteries make a gas? Yes, actually 3 known gases. Hi, I'm Dr. Mitch, and nitric oxide is a gas that's readily made all day long to keep our arteries open by relaxing the blood vessel walls. By doing this, our circulation is increased, bringing blood, oxygen, and nutrients to every part of your body. Both age and poor diet can lead to a loss of this precious gas, and in turn, blood pressure can go up, energy can go down, and you can get tingling in your hands and feet. Well, our product, Ultimate Nitric Oxide, can easily help fix this lack of nitric oxide. Go to TotalWellness.com. That's TotalWellness.com, where we are helping you to look good, feel good, and enjoy total wellness.